Provo, Utah. This is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Kaleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Joe.
Fuck you. You can't mess with me this late.
I'm your host, Kaleb.
I am your other host, Joe.
And today we will be discussing kind of a like helter-skelter episode of sorts, kind of the automation of Final Fantasy.
Okay.
I noticed
how we feel about how Final Fantasy has continued. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the shift in Final Fantasy. From 11 on, it's just kind of a, well, you could do everything, but we could do it for you. Or we could allow you to set it up to where it does it for you, kind of a deal. So
okay.
We're going to go touch on that and kind of discuss what we feel, I don't know, how we feel about that, and like if it makes a big deal to us personally. I mean, obviously we're still
playing. It is a big deal to us.
Yeah, if it makes an impact on how we view the games as a whole. So
all right,
yeah, lots of good stuff, and of course, you can find all of this and more on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy, Twitter @UFF Podcast. Throw us a follow there. Facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. And support us on Patreon. If you give us $1, we'll maybe get your episode up a week or a few days early.
We had a little issue with the Final Fantasy 12 episode, part 1 at least, where it wasn't letting us download the thing onto Patreon, and so we were freaking out, and we gave an apology to everybody, and hopefully you guys got it, you Patreon supporters. We were able to get episode 2 up a day early.
Right.
But the sound quality had to be crushed. I think it was because the file sizes were so large. And so I made the file size of part 2 of the Final Fantasy 12 episode very, very small for how long the episode is. And so the sound quality wasn't the best for the Patreon guys, but I listened to it, and you know what? It's listenable. Like, it's still better sound quality than you get on a phone call. So it's all good, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the phone call's between you and your neighbor through a can with fishing wire, yeah, I suppose it's better.
It is technically better. And because I do say to myself, it was well mixed, it actually sounds okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah,
and
it sounds really crushed, but it's listenable.
Yeah,
really.
But anyway, other than the giant-ass review episodes, you'll get everything a few days early. And, of course, we're streaming right now on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy.
And for you Twitch and YouTube guys who don't know, I feel like this is a podcast. You can find us on iTunes,
right,
Stitcher, or any other sort of podcatcher you can find.
Right, and it's much better through that. I mean, it's not...
The sound quality is awesome.
We've got mix, like remixes, all sorts of good stuff. And yeah, that's what our main focus is. Yeah. But of course, you can watch me playing through all the video games on on Twitch. So it's kind of fun. It's been really awesome.
Twitch is a good thing to follow for the show.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great after show.
So
you can find all of that and more at ultimafinalfantasy.com and join the forums too.
Please join the forums.
Yeah, it's getting pretty awesome.
Schweiss, where are we in Final Fantasy 13?
I am right before Bartandalus, the first fight, and you are...
I am at Bartandalus right now.
First fight?
No.
Times 10.
I think I'm underleveled.
Yeah?
I've been really speeding through the game.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So he's ripping me apart, but it's my fault.
Yeah, is it going to be like 12 where I like look at the file and I'm like, probably not though.
What do you mean?
Well, when I was looking at your 12 thing and I like saw that there was like, I was there faster and my guys were higher level.
No, it's not going to be that way.
Well, it can't be with 13 because there are guys in the way. You can't just run away. So
sometimes you can.
Yeah, if you use those sprays or whatever.
Was it the dozers that are really rough in that area?
No, it's the
what are they called?
Oh God, I just drew a blank.
Okay.
I don't know, but they're giant.
The big red guys, right?
Yeah, the giant mech dudes.
I only had to fight the 3 that you have to fight.
Yeah, I fought those guys twice.
I was able to run around everybody else.
And I was deceived. I was deceived by one of the viewers on Twitch to go after Great Treasure in the middle. It was a Phoenix Down. I was very betrayed.
Oh, and you probably had to use a Phoenix Down to get there.
I did, so I evened out. But it's okay. It's okay. I forgive.
Is it okay?
Yeah. He wanted a game over. He was like, game over, a riot or something.
How many game overs have you had? I know you're counting them.
I've had 14, I think, now.
Rough game.
Yeah, kind of. I have a feeling you might have had more, though.
So far with the Bartandalus, I think I've had 4 with just him.
Yeah, I had...
and I had 3 with that other disgusting boss at the end of Chapter 8.
Yeah, I had 2 with a random enemy guy. And I was like...
Yeah.
It's freaking brutal.
The first, 10 chapters of 13 go really fast. And then Grand Pulse is...
Yeah, there's missable stuff on there too. So if you want to platinum it, we got to make sure that you.
I don't think there is anything missable. I was looking at a platinum guide and it said nothing was missable unless you screw up how you get your weapons.
Yeah. So yeah, let's. Got some news to jump into.
We do have some news.
A little bit of that.
News.
Okay, so first up in news, Final Fantasy X HD PS4. They're going to patch it because apparently it had issues with random battles. Apparently the PS4 version of Final Fantasy X HD actually had a random number. Let's see. The random number generator was set from the moment the game began, meaning every encounter would be predetermined with the same enemies and course of action. So,
wow.
Now they're going to patch the game to where the enemies are actually random, which they're supposed to be in the other versions of 10.
Right, and apparently there's another thing that I think would be even more maddening. There's a glitch, a problem found in the game that in 10 and 10.2, if you're in the field and you enter into one of the not so random battles they put it, the field track, so the soundtrack and the background music will start over from the beginning when the battle ends. Can you imagine that? Those are long songs, and if you only hear the first 20 seconds over
you're
and
gonna get pretty ticked.
If you're hunting for those, the arena guys, oh my god, dude, just
that would be pretty bad. So they're gonna patch it. So
yay.
I didn't even know that was a problem, but apparently it was a problem, and it's being fixed.
Yeah,
so
PS3 version for the win.
Yeah.
I kind of would have liked the nice graphics though. So, and also, apparently somebody did a Final Fantasy VI speed run, and there's a new game over glitch of sorts, and they were able to beat this game in okay, let's 32 minutes and 50 seconds is the record time, and apparently they found this thing in May 2015. It involves dying 52 times in a row on the world map, and sometimes it can cause the game to freeze, or it can trigger corrupted cutscenes, but it can be manipulated to trigger the game's ending. So you just get there.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
32 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's a BS
with
thing.
This assisted speed run of Final Fantasy VI, but yet the, I guess, reported world record of this game.
Yeah, the world, what kind of record is that? I broke it and beat it faster.
Well, on howlongtobeat.com, I still have the record for FF1.
Yeah?
Yeah. I dare someone to beat my 9 hours and 7 seconds.
Well, we definitely...
No outside emulation, anything. No tool-assisted thing.
Yeah, we definitely didn't beat it this time.
I didn't record it, though, so I guess it doesn't count. But I recorded the number on howlongtobeat.com. Actually, I haven't checked it in a while. Maybe I'm wrong.
Screenshot or it didn't happen. That's our motto at work.
Oh, that might be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be hard to find.
Well, it was like a Game Boy Advance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah, you're probably screwed then, unless you have the Game Boy.
No.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, so a couple things for Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Edgar and Sabin from Final Fantasy VI have been added, speaking of Final Fantasy VI, and also, if you go to the next tab there, Schweiss, Lightning and Saws, also unlockable in Record Keeper.
Damn.
So for you 2 people that are out there still playing Record Keeper, some new characters for you to unlock.
It's supposed to be pretty popular. They're doing well.
I mean, there was 1 million downloads, but was
how many
there
people are
1
playing
million
it?
people that played?
Probably not. It's probably about 500,000 or so. So
I doubt that. I bet it's even lower than that.
you think so?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of fun. The thing is,
you played it. That's right.
The thing is it keeps wanting to download more stuff.
So if me and you are the random sample, then yes, half the
50%,
people.
yeah. We're about as random as they can be, right?
Yes.
Final Fantasy fans.
All right, so we've had so much Final Fantasy VII news recently, and then it kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But this is the little piece of Final Fantasy VII news that some people are thinking it's really news, and are kind of freaking out over. But apparently, was it Tetsuya Nomura? Yeah. Tetsuya Nomura said that there was going to be dramatic changes to Final Fantasy VII's combat system, which I feel like we might have covered before, but also that the game was going to draw inspiration from Advent Children. You know what other Final Fantasy game drew inspiration from Advent Children?
What game?
Final Fantasy 13.
Oh.
Yeah. So imagine a 13 style combat Final Fantasy 7.
Okay.
I don't think it'd
fine.
be that bad.
No, it would be okay. I bet you. I'm still theorizing Final Fantasy 15.
But it would probably have all those people doing flips and jumping a lot and
yeah,
all the ridiculous physics from Final Fantasy 7.
And
At least that's what I think. Maybe they just mean visual inspiration, like character models and stuff, but I doubt it.
Right. Perhaps this time when they release a trailer for it and they call it gameplay, it'll actually be gameplay and not a cutscene, like with 13. Do you remember that? Do you remember that early 13 trailer that was like her flying around in the beginning in the train, and that's a cutscene. They added like health bars and shit. They're like deceivers to the max. Dude, no.
It was, okay, you know what? We'll revisit this at some later point. We will look at that trailer because I think you're thinking of 2 separate parts
I might
of that
be
first trailer.
Jake remembers it too. He's like, remember that time when they lied?
Well, we'll remember it for real watching a trailer. So we'll worry about that off air.
All right, fine. God, fine.
I think you're wrong though.
All right, so
this is pretty big news here.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is going to launch in South Korea this month.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. August. So it was yesterday.
Yeah.
August
so I guess
14th.
it did already. Yeah, so
I hope South Koreans are enjoying it. We'll be playing with some of them, maybe.
Payment plans of 30 days, 90 days, or shorter. Periods of 5 and 30 hours, which works out better for those who play at cyber cafes. Oh, that's actually kind of genius. So you can pay for 30 hours worth of gameplay because instead of paying for a month, you might only have like an hour a day to play. Actually, that would be 30 hours, but you could break it up however you wanted. And,
okay.
5 days a week.
That is an interesting way to break it up.
Yeah, and soon, North Korea. Yeah. And there'll be one guy.
Let's get in there for Final Fantasy 14.
There'll be one guy playing it in North Korea, and we'll all know who it is.
All right, so we got a slew of FF15 stuff that came from Gamescom. Unfortunately, no release date.
Yeah.
Even though I bet on E3 and then I bet on Gamescom and I just have no more cards. I'm out. Yeah. No more chips, I should say, actually. But so I'm kind of sad about that, but we do have some enlightening details here. First off, Hajime Tabata said that there's going to be a lot of focus on Final Fantasy 15's story. And let's see if I can see this quote here. So the way I look at implementing the story and telling the story through the game, that's the first priority, really. Getting it so the story feels good and it's a great experience to have. So story is number 1.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's usually how it is, but...
Not in games. Story's not usually number 1 in games. Story's like number 5 in games, usually.
Well, it depends on the company.
It depends
the
on the
series.
type of game, too.
Yeah, it can. I don't know. Some shooters have great stories, but... and then there's Halo.
I think that's the exception and not the rule.
Yeah,
really.
You think Call of Duty's the exception.
And I think it's one of the reasons why we like Final Fantasy is because they do give so much focus on story.
Yeah.
I mean, they give us good gameplay usually.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a good mix of it, but well, that's good. I'm glad they're gonna really focus on the story. Hopefully that works out well. Yeah. As long as it's fun still. I don't want to have a freaking interactive novel. But
so the blonde girl in Final Fantasy 15, Luna Freya, is actually Noctis' fiance. We found that out through an interview.
Luna Freya, huh?
Luna Freya.
The fuck?
They couldn't decide who what name to take her from. Yeah.
Do we want to name her after the moon, or do we want to name her after the Final Fantasy 9 mouse chick? Both.
Yes.
So, you can read more about that, or more about 15, I guess, on Silicon Era.
That's where we get most of this information from. Submitted to us, usually by Shinru, but by a few members of our forum this week.
Right.
So we want to thank you for that. Now, the biggest thing about Final Fantasy 15, there were 2 brand new trailers released.
It's true.
One of which was a game trailer, and the other which was a cutscene trailer. Do we call them cutscene trailers, or like a story trailer?
Well, it's more like a...
Okay.
Yeah, something.
All right. And we would normally do a trailer reaction, but our sound is not working for our computer.
True.
Yeah. So Schweiss, who hasn't seen the trailers, will be happy to watch them at some later point and tell you about it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we're going to have to set these for a later time when our shit's not messing up. But
yeah.
I remember somebody talking about one of them and being like, it's just 5 minutes of crying. Which, looking at the little JPEG image here, I could totally see it.
It takes 2 of the old main Final Fantasy themes, kind of puts them together in a sort of sad way. There's a little cutscene, and then at the end, there's this. I assume it's the Noctis's father, holding a child Noctis from 15 years before. I just have to use the number or whatever game it's from. It's like Quentin Tarantino.
Surprised it's not 1,000 years before.
And then, the father is crying while the son is asleep. It's an interesting trailer. Someone was saying it was a great trailer on the forum, and I watched it and I was like, it's kind of like 2 seconds long. Oh, you totally clicked away from something I needed.
Oh.
All right. Well, don't worry about it. Okay. Final Fantasy 15, they're talking with the Just Cause 3 people, I guess. They're in talks with the Just Cause 3 people. Have you ever played that game?
No. It's basically like a weird Grand Theft Auto.
Apparently they have some cool technology where it's kind of vertically integrated action in the game.
Well, Just Cause 3 is theirs as well.
Yeah, it is, and they're talking with their team trying to get some of their technology over into Final Fantasy 15, so it'll be a little bit more jumping around, a little bit more platforming than Final Fantasy 15 already is in the demo.
That'll be interesting. I mean, it'll be kind of cool to have that in an open world style like we're seeing. But
and lastly, talking about Final Fantasy 15's super delays, they're saying that debugs and localization work are what's making us wait a little longer than we normally would. And I saw a quote from Hajime Tabata saying that they're going to try to get a really close release, if not a simultaneous release.
Oh,
and
cool.
They were hoping that we would not be waiting into 2017.
Yeah, I remember reading that as well.
So,
the fuck is he holding?
Hopefully 2016 at some point is when we get Final Fantasy 15.
Look at that sword that he's got. It's got like a motor on it.
Oh, Noctis's motorcycle motor sword. I never saw that in a still frame.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous now.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't on a radio show be talking about how a picture looks.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, guys.
We've made that mistake many a times. And speaking of mistakes, Schweiss.
Yeah, so apparently Final Fantasy 12, someone said they were going to remake it. There was some talk of a remake. And
what happened, they were at the Distant Worlds concert, and the, I want to say the composer, Arnie Roth, on Saturday night in Pittsburgh. I can't believe I said that. Okay, Pittsburgh is what I said.
Yes.
He said that there was going to be an FF12 remake. And apparently they redacted that statement later.
Right.
And we would have normally played the video where he said that, but we couldn't.
No.
But here's the statement from Distant Worlds. It says, "Dear friends, in response to comments posted by fans, I want to rectify a statement made from the stage Saturday night at our Distant Worlds Music from Final Fantasy concert in Pittsburgh, I want to say. Pittsburgh, excuse me. Following conversations with composer Hitoshi Sakimoto regarding new concert arrangements of music from FF12, regrettably the term remake, in quotes, was used in error during one of the announcements that took place from the stage during the concert. We sincerely regret any confusion this has caused. Unfortunately, this statement has caused even more confusion because all he's saying is that the term remake was used accidentally, I should say.
Yeah, and if we know anything about Square, they're not very subtle. Like, they're really bad at it. So, like, when we were at the...
He was probably told something from a composer and then just decided to...
He was probably
go
releasing or saying that they were going to do it. Kind of like the Dark Knight shirt that they were wearing.
Oh, at the Final Fantasy 14 convention?
Yeah, the Heaven's Word release. Yeah, it's probably like that. They're really poor at like hiding things in there. So,
well, they want to give the fans a little something to freak out about.
Yeah.
So there were some people speculating on whether or not Final Fantasy 12 was going to be completely remade, or if he just meant remaster. And when I heard remake, I thought remaster, so it wasn't like a big surprise to me when they redacted the statement. But who knows? It might just be nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully it's a remaster.
But I mean, since they said it and so many people were excited about it, Square's going to do something.
Yeah, they will. They probably just tested the waters. They're like, hey, go out here and fuck up a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Stir the pot. But yeah, so hopefully that happens, and I'll play the game one more time and platinum it, and then I'll never play it again.
Are you really going to play the game one more time?
I want the platinum for it.
Jeez, dude.
But speaking of playing games with trophies, Final Fantasy Explorers is going to head to North America on January 26th, 2016.
Yay!
Yeah, so that really kitty-looking trailer.
It's like Monster Hunter Final Fantasy game that came out a while ago.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
but
it's officially going to come here on January 26th.
Yep.
I almost said 2016.
Yeah, we've been talking about this one for a little while, huh?
We have been. That was really odd because I didn't feel like anybody... because Void submitted it on Twitter. Or at least he gave us a link to that news information.
Yeah.
So that's where I found out about it. But no one put it on the forum. It was really weird. At least that I saw. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, they're making us work.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the biggest piece of news. Final Fantasy Explorers. The only game we know that's coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's going to be here.
It's going to be here. It's not Final Fantasy 15. It's not Final Fantasy 12. It is actually legitimately coming to North America on the 26th of January.
Hell yeah, an actual release.
2016.
Yes.
Way to go.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Shall we move on to our discussion?
Yeah, let's go. Let's tag that.
All right.
All right, so something I've noticed, and this has been since Final Fantasy XI, I believe, is there's been a lot of automation with the Final Fantasy games. We've got FF11, let's start with 10. Final Fantasy X, very controlled.
Okay.
You control the shit out of the game. I mean, you can hit L1, pull in your other party members to take down guys that are weak to certain characters, certain spells.
It's kind of set up that way so that you use pretty much everybody except Kimari.
Yeah. Well, he gets pretty godly, though, but of course everybody does in the end.
I feel like there's certain creatures in Final Fantasy X and that are made for either Auron, Tidus, Waka, or Lulu. And then, of course, Yuna is used for healing for most of the time.
Right, and then, of course, the machines that Riku can just one-shot, which I...
Some of the machines.
Right. So very controlled game. You control everything. You know, it's turn-based. It's all you.
That's true. Yeah, you can see when the enemy is going to hit, and sort of your strategy is for dealing with that hit.
Right, and that seems easy, but it's freaking not.
Well,
it's beneficial.
They're trying to make a game that you can play.
Yeah, that's true. But then we move on to Final Fantasy XI, and you hit attack. You finally figure out how to attack something in the game, and then your guy just kind of auto-attacks. He just does that one motion. And you can, control W to go into your extra weapon skills and tag one of those, or throw it into a macro. And if you don't have macros, or if you're just auto attacking like I did most of the game, and I assume most people did.
No,
you wore spells though, huh?
I had to use spells all the time. I had to use those macros like crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really use.
I had so many spells. It would be impractical to have to select a spell off of a list.
Yeah, for me it wasn't too bad. It was only buffs in the beginning, and then I would just go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my old moves. But very automated compared to 10. I mean, you can just sit there and auto-attack people. And you can set up a macro that you just target the nearest enemy and you just go take them down.
And the way that the game is set up now with trusts being your primary party members.
You don't control any of them.
No, you don't.
Very automated.
Very. And you're just kind of... You're trying to pick and choose guys to summon to help you,
right?
Simply based upon their jobs,
their skill sets,
or how good the trust is. Because not all trusts are created equal.
No, there's same jobs and really good versions of them later on.
And I believe what you're trying to get to is that in a way, the trust system, as we now know it, is kind of what the Gambit system is in Final Fantasy 12.
Right, and then we go from 11 with some automation to Final Fantasy 12.
It's only some automation, but I know that was a later thing in 11. So I think this automation probably happened in FF12. Unless you're considering another player that you can't control being the automation in a way.
No, I'm considering you go and press attack on him and he'll just attack. You don't have to actually touch it. Which
do you only have to press attack once?
Yeah, they'll just attack.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I
think I probably just pressed it over and over again like I do in 13.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I can't not do that.
I can't mash the X. You don't have to mash the X button, but you just do.
No, you don't.
It's psychological. It's weird.
The first day I was sitting there tagging the hell out of it, and someone's like, "Man, you're really hitting that X, aren't you?" And I'm like, I don't know why. And I'm trying to move too. I'm trying to move up to the enemy and shit. Oh man, I'm broken from 12. But
yeah,
then we get to 12, and you can set up gambits to play it. Like I saw you playing it, where you don't even move. You guys set to auto attack, and the rest of your party is set to attack who he's attacking, which is a specific HP monster. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to. All you have to do is get to the area, and they'll attack.
You just have to walk.
Yeah. You pretty much have to walk, and. That's its own thing. Whatever. We won't go too big into that.
We already went plenty big into that on the last episode.
But that's a big jump from 11, I feel. And then 13, I feel like is almost the same way in a lot of ways, because you have that auto battle function, which I use. I mean, I'm not going to go through and select their skills. And basically what you do is you press X and it'll automatically generate a move that's appropriate for the situation. So, I mean, if you've got a group of 3 or 4 guys, it'll do, if you've got your commando on, it'll do a blitz move, which is an AoE physical attack.
That's usually when the creatures are kind of close together.
Yeah, when they're grouped up.
Yeah.
It'll automatically do that. It'll automatically buff your guys.
If you have spells on, it'll automatically do whatever the creature is weak to.
Right.
So,
although most of the time they're kind of neutral monsters, so they'll just kind of throw random spells out and it'll do similar amounts of damage. But all you have to do is press X a few times, and the game, you don't have to select from a list of moves ever. I've only taken it in my own hands a couple times. To where I'm like, okay, we can do a blitz right now because they're grouped up, and the game was like, yeah, let's just attack.
Let's just attack one guy.
Yeah, but for the most part, I am just going in there and pressing X. I'm worrying about other stuff, though, because 13 is
brutal in its own special way.
It is, yeah. You can totally lose random battles like it's nothing. It's just like, oh, yeah, you're dead now, and retry. But I don't know. How do you
God for that retry option.
Oh, I know.
Or else 13 would be the hardest Final Fantasy game.
13 would be so much more infuriating than anything I've ever done if the retry button didn't exist, because the save points, while frequent, not frequent enough for that. I don't know. How do you feel about the automation that we've been seeing? Because I mean, first 10 games, we're controlling everything.
Yeah, we are controlling everything except for the enemy. Except in FF10, you saw when the enemy was going to hit.
Right, you can see it, but it's almost like the impending doom sometimes, depending on the boss.
I think we should ask about why do you think the automation was happening instead? Or at least first we should ask that question.
Okay, what do you think?
Because you're looking at FF10, and they're kind of doing... The team behind that was trying to do what FF9 could not do, and that was have a very fast battle system.
Right.
Now, apparently there were hardware reasons, limitations why FF9's battle system is so slow, but then they went straight into FF10 and created probably the fastest battle system in the series, or at least one of the fastest.
Yeah, it's really quick.
Yeah. So they did that, and with FF11, they couldn't quite do that. You know what I'm saying? You can only control your own guy, and maybe since there's so many menus or so many things to do in 11 based upon whatever job you take up, that it would be kind of ridiculous to have to select every little thing unless they were to limit you, but they can't really limit you because they have to make the game really huge so that you'll stay in the game for forever.
Right.
So that you have to have all these abilities that you can use. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the games became more complex, is I think what you're getting at. There's more...
At least 11 did.
Yeah, there's more in 11. There's, if you don't have incentive to level up a little more to get that extra ability or whatever, you just kind of don't really worry about it. And with 11, they made it so big and so lengthy with the levels and the areas, and... Like, even with what we had, even with our XP boosts out the ass, it still took a little while to level up. When I got up to, 94, it took me, 2 hours of leveling on those fucking crabs in the last area. And I was like, geez, I'm chaining them for, 9,000, but it's still, 50 or no, it was 140 or something like that to level up. And I'm like, oh... And it just scales like crazy.
Yeah, the leveling scale.
So I feel like a lot of it is the, probably the extra code or whatever you want to put it as within the game that almost makes it have to exist, or else it would be ridiculous. Like you're saying, to go through all those menus to select every
You wouldn't want to
thing.
select attack individually in that game.
No, I would never want that.
No. Luckily, macros exist, so you can speed up 11's process. That's for damn sure, and you really need to.
Yeah.
For anybody who's thinking about going into 11 this late in the game.
Yeah.
We're going to return to it, most likely, assuming our characters are still there.
Yeah, well, I'm still paying for mine. So
are you still?
Yeah, I forgot.
I
Yeah, that's funny, because I was the one that
so
was
there's the risk.
I was irate at the idea of of continuing to pay for it, and I just keep forgetting to cancel it. I was the one that was like, no, screw you, you're wrong.
See, Caleb is still paying for FF11, so Square Enix is never going to make FF11 free.
Yep.
We're still getting $11 from this guy.
I'm the enabler, the great enabler of our time.
No, and then Final Fantasy 12, they were trying to give you the same experience in FF11, but make it single player. In order to do that, you would have to only really control one character. So I can see why they did that.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like, well, we're setting up, macros or gambits for these other characters. Might as well make it for the main character also. But some players might not want to do that. They can turn the gambit system on and off. They were really going for some super flexibility in FF12, but you can't have that much flexibility. Like you were saying, the game's getting more complicated. You can't have that much flexibility without having some sort of automation involved, unless you want a really, really tedious game experience.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine playing 12.
And it's already tedious enough.
Yeah. I can't imagine playing 12 without the gambits. I would hate it. It would be brutal. It's definitely doable, but there's so much micromanaging, making sure everyone's got their spells on, and it would be horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
it'd be just bad. And so I think a lot of it is, just how much is in the game, how many different abilities you have, how much of a difference it actually makes.
Mm-hmm.
And just even level grinding in the final areas, it's that extra chunk of damage from bravery is, a lifesaver sometimes. So and then, of course, with 13, I didn't even remember this from before. I didn't remember the auto battle thing personally.
You didn't remember auto battle?
No, I just remember pressing X a lot.
And you
that's
totally
why.
didn't need to.
No, I didn't. But 13, not really. It doesn't really take it a step further. It kind of does, actually. I'd say it takes it a step further because it automatically selects the most logical choice.
You have no way to select the attacks of the other players.
Yeah, there's no way. It's only the main party, the party leader, that you control.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys are just set up in their certain roles, and then they kind of support you or do whatever that role is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. It's all about getting good combos and trying to get staggers up and
yeah, it's
taking it down as quick as you can. After that, just all that switching around.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fast.
I think it's a great battle system. I know there's a lot of people that hate it.
Yeah,
but I think it's really simple and it's really fun. So they took kind of the automation from FF12 and pumped it up a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah,
and kind of made the automation the part of the game. So
they made it part of the big part of the battle system.
Yeah, they made it a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So gambits you can turn on and off in 12. It's forced upon you in FF13, but they kind of made up for that
by simplifying it.
They kind of made up for, if they just had the automation and the battle system was as slow as FF12.
Well, you had it on like medium for half of the game.
If they had it on as slow as FF12, then Final Fantasy 13 would be pretty boring. But what they did was they just made, I don't know if they make the enemies hit harder or if they just made the game faster.
I think they just sped everything up.
Yeah. So 13 is extremely fast. And that's kind of a way to deal with that is by being automated. But why did they have to make 13 extremely fast?
I don't know. Maybe
let's go back to 2009. How many other big turn-based games are there out in the PS3 or PS4 era?
Not too many.
Not too many. How many newer gamers, say gamers that are turning about 13 years old and they're starting to be selective with their gaming, how many of those gamers do you think are familiar with turn-based battle systems?
Probably none.
Probably
very
none.
few.
So what kind of RPGs are they used to?
Western
RPGs.
Yep.
And what kind of battle systems do Western RPGs have?
Very active,
action-y battle systems.
Right.
Where you hit something, you hit a button, and the character does something automatically.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like in Fable, you hold down a trigger and you have certain spells, certain buttons, and you'll just automatically do whatever that thing is.
Right, or, Skyrim, you attack with the left click and block with the right or whatever it may be.
Right. And it's very action-oriented, or maybe younger gamers who were probably exposed to Kingdom Hearts first before Final Fantasy, and they pick up Final Fantasy 13. They're not looking for micromanaging your gambits.
Right.
And like you did in FF12. And they're not looking for a turn-based or active time-based system like FF9 or FF10 or any of the previous games before that. They're looking for an action system. And so I believe Square Enix, in an attempt to say, look, this is Final Fantasy, so we need some sort of menu system to be part of the game, but yet all the gamers, they're all playing these action RPGs or these action games now, and we have to somehow merge the two. And so that's when we get a battle system like Final Fantasy 13, where it has strategy to it, and there's some classic Final Fantasy stuff in those battle systems. They changed some names around, obviously, but there's like healer and shit like that. It's now medic.
Yeah.
They're taking those two gaming subgroups, and they're creating a unique battle system with that to get that player into Final Fantasy, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's worked. I think FF13 brought a lot of younger players into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, however you feel about the game is beside the point. I mean, it does have a much more fast-paced battle system. It's more westernized for sure in that regard, and it does simplify a lot of the crap that you would have to set up in 12. Now, upon setting up, of course, it's easy. You're set. But in 13, you don't even have to set it up. You just have to have the spells that you need for those specific jobs, and they will automatically cast what you need.
That's true, but there is some menu managing involved when you're choosing your plays, I guess. Your what are they called? Paradigms.
Paradigm, yeah.
Yeah.
Paradigm switch. Yeah, so there is some sort of management, which is good because then it almost adds another layer of strategy to it. And I give 13 props for this, and it's not just a game you can just grind your way out of every situation. The battle system is, it's fast. I mean, of course, if you level up
it's fast and you have to get it.
Yeah, you have to understand what it takes to take down these BS random enemies with a jillion life,
Mm-hmm.
And I think
there's a very old episode of this podcast where I told you that Final Fantasy 13 is difficult, and you did not believe me.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
If someone can dig up whatever episode that was or whatever minute that was said,
yeah,
please let me know.
Well, it's easier than it's tougher than 12.
The retry button is the thing that makes it not a hard game.
Yeah,
but in its essence, it is a hard game.
It is. Yeah, it adds the battle system speed and just the way you have to kill enemies. It makes it difficult. You can lose to random guys just
because of how fast it is, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, if you don't switch fast enough.
But I think it is good for that player who's used to action games and are used to making quick decisions, and not so much the slow strategical decisions of the past Final Fantasy games.
Right.
Not that they were slow, but
no, and 8 and
except for 9.
8 is super
9
fast.
Is slow.
Yeah. No, it was a shock when we got to 9. I was like slamming on the brakes, just fucking swerving. Oh man, I was blown away at how slow 9 was when I got to it. I was like, oh my god, the bar, it's just inching up. I'm like, oh, I just want to attack.
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, I think it's an interesting evolution. How do you feel it? How do you feel towards it? I mean, is it a problem to you, or is it just?
I believe there's someone in the chat here on Twitch who was talking about how it's just a natural evolution
of an RPG
of the series.
Yeah, I would second that. I mean, you can't just keep releasing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't work that way. You've got to adapt, and I think especially with 13, they definitely adapted.
Mm-hmm.
And 12 took a lot of stuff from 11, and 11 just went way off with the MMO kind of thing. But they had to adapt to make the game, make you spend time playing the game instead of selecting your actions, because no one wants to select actions all day. They want to play through the story. They want to play.
But they do have to look up how to make a macro.
Right. True. You do have to look up the macros. The gambits are a little easier. I mean, there's magical gambits.
They're way easier to set up.
Yeah, but
they take like 2 seconds to set up versus FF11's.
Oh yeah,
/ whatever, and then the spell in quotes, and then it's a pain.
It is, yeah. That's why I only set up like 6.
I set up a lot.
Well, yeah, you were the caster though. It made sense for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it is kind of natural, and
it's an interesting evolution. I'd like to see how it continues in 14. I think your attacks are still automated in 14. I think it's like 11 in that way, but I'm a white mage, so I'm like casting stone all the time.
Yeah,
so I'm still clicking stuff.
Mm.
But it's faster than 11.
Well, yeah.
So now 14, A Realm Reborn, is dealing with MMO players who probably got off of Warcraft recently.
Right.
So that's another section of people that Square Enix has to get into Final Fantasy somehow.
Right. And I mean, as we know, there are plenty of 14 fans that don't give a rat's ass about the rest of the series.
That's very, very true.
They're like, oh, what do you guys talk about? Oh, we're up to Final Fantasy 6. Oh, I don't care about anything with 14. What? Why?
Are you a cash player?
Yeah, you're a cash, aren't you? Yeah, we were the elite there. No, but it was weird. There's plenty of people that love all of them, but like we said, I mean, you have to appeal to, especially with 14, you've got to appeal to the MMO crowd and the Final Fantasy crowd. And looking at the numbers, they found a pretty damn good mix. But I think we should revisit this after 15.
We will. I think we'll have probably a giant. Let's talk about every single game in the series and how they relate to each other. After we're done with 14.
Yeah,
that's I mean, that's obvious. I mean, we got.
Oh, it is. That's
do that.
That's the purpose of the show up to this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it.
Sequels after this.
Yeah, but those are whatever. Yeah. But I think it's interesting, and it's
interesting. I think it's a natural evolution for them. I mean, 15 is obviously now an action RPG.
Oh yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts.
So it finally gave up. They finally gave up, and they were like, "Fine,
we'll make it action."
Hardly any menu. That's all right. And it's not a big deal to me. I do hope that they, later on, hopefully with 16, that they'll kind of give more of a strategical nod back to the old games.
Yeah, instead of just button mashing kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think, of course, it depends on how well received 15 is.
Yeah.
It's all based on that.
True. Maybe it'll just keep evolving and it'll be Final Fantasy 17, Skyrim.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I don't know, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, so would I.
As long as it's still fun and has a good story, you can get used to gameplay. And as long as it's fast, it's good. It's refreshing how I have to actually pay attention in 13 as opposed to
12 where it was automated.
Where I'm like, I can pretty
much... You
much
got to pay attention to your health in 11.
Yes, you could die very easily because no one has to be anywhere near you in 11. They can just like attack, their little attack motion. You're like,
where is he?
Yeah, and then your guy just like
some little rabbits like me.
Yeah,
like jumping up and down.
They defy the laws of everything and can still hit you.
All right, Schweiss. Well, shall we move on to some questions?
Yeah, we got a few questions we can answer.
All right.
All right, so first up in questions, worst FF character. I don't know. Does this sound familiar to you? Kind of sounds familiar to me.
Worst FF character? He says Onion Knight from 3. Does that mean just like a character void of personality?
I think we're
or a character that we hate.
I'm gonna go with character that we hate. As far as worst FF character. Oh man, there's some really, really annoying ones.
Yeah, there's some seriously annoying Final Fantasy characters.
But the worst, that's a toughie. Selphie's pretty bad, and she's useless.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Selphie is pretty bad.
Kate Sith is a giant asshole and betrays you and comes back as another clone. But that's, he worked for Shinra and betrayed Shinra, so hate the character. The guy who plays him, it's okay.
Yeah, Hope is annoying.
Hope is, oh my god, he's so annoying.
Hope is very annoying.
He grows up a bit, though. He has character development, at least. I don't think Selphie really grows too much. Who else is annoying? Riku.
Riku. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put Riku.
You think so?
Least favorite character, yeah.
Least favorite.
The worst FF character that I can think of right now so far.
All right.
I'm not going to count any characters in 13, even though I am finding Hope particularly annoying.
Yeah, he is, but he is useful, though. He's pretty good at spells, but I think Vanille's better. And Vanille's hotter, obviously, because I'm not into little boys, but...
Okay.
Well, I was just saying that Vanille is attractive, and then I'm like, wait, that sounds really wrong, because I'm saying it more so than the kid. Whatever.
I didn't get that, but okay.
Just wanted to make sure.
Okay, you just wanted to lay that out there.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go...
All right.
I'm probably going to go Selphie. I mean, I know with 8's system, you can make them all gods, but I don't like her moves. I don't like her. I don't find her useful.
I get it. Maybe Thorn and Zorn.
Yeah. Oh God, they're really.
He didn't say main character.
True.
Playable character.
Maybe Ultros.
Oh yeah.
Ultros is pretty.
Let's go with Ultros.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to ask the next question there?
Yeah. Next one here is from Baindrum. He says he stumbled on an article while looking around for Final Fantasy news. Oh, let's see what this is. Female gaming characters. Oh, it's about an eating disorder group. Let's see. Female characters get realistic makeovers from eating disorder group. All right, so they kind of redid some artwork. And let's see here. Who do we have? Oh, there's a Riku one. Let's see what she looks like.
Oh, wow. Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, so basically it's an article talking about how, people are obviously they're too skinny. Like Lightning couldn't physically she couldn't be that skinny and be able to do what she does. It's impossible. Her legs are like my arms.
That they're unrealistically proportioned.
Yeah, to the
based
actions,
upon what they do.
Not only the actions they're committing, but if you were to jump around like that, your legs would get stronger. You work a muscle and it grows. So it doesn't just stay like a fucking stick.
You'd have tree trunks.
Yes. And it'd be slightly hot in a weird way. But so Baindrum gave us that article. And
There's
says,
nothing. I think athletic women are very attractive. It doesn't mean skinny athletic women. I like marathoners or anything like that, but like women that play soccer, have some muscle on them. It's attractive still.
Yeah, no, I am a
to me.
I'm an old school kind of guy, so I enjoy the
Marilyn Monroe kind of body.
Yeah, I enjoy the.
Even though I'm not sure how much powerlifting she did.
Probably not much, but
probably not much.
Curvy.
I mean, but she is curvy. Yeah,
it's wonderful.
I get what you're saying.
So he says there's only 2 Final Fantasy characters on the list, but it's curious to see this interpretation. Final Fantasy tends to be a series that dodges the label of hypersexualization. Are they exempt from scrutiny because of the story-driven aspect of the game? Are they flying under the radar? Not flying under the radar. They're one of the biggest series ever. Are the characters not pure fan service? Is it really weird that the article refers to the creator of comparisons, images, Bulimia, instead of bulimia.com? What do we think? I think it's definitely guilty of over-sexualization and hyper-sexualization at times. I think anyone that denies that is...
shall we forget FF10 too? Or
yeah, either anyone that denies that is either
to forget
blind
FF10
or has watched so much porn that they just don't understand what the real world is. And it's one of those two. So yeah, it exists. Personally, it doesn't really bother me, but and even the women
I don't look at video game characters, women or men, and think I'm not isolated enough to think that that's what people should look like.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
At
look
least
at,
not consciously.
I don't look at Snow and think, "Wow, I'm fat." I look at me and think, "Wow, I've gotten fat." I'm not worried about what the video game character looks like. I understand that.
Why don't I look more like Snow?
On an impressionable person, that may be the case, but if that's
Snow
the case,
is pretty ripped.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to get too political, but personal responsibility. If you can't handle something, or if your kid can't handle something, don't let them have it. If it's too much for you,
like, what political point are you making? And then I just heard it. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is there, and if you deny it, you're wrong. That's as far as I can say. But I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think about about how women look in the series? I mean, what's the question here?
He's wondering if they because he doesn't think they get very much scrutiny for it, but I think they have.
I think they've gotten scrutiny for it.
Not as much as like Mortal Kombat, maybe with the jiggle friggin' mechanics, but they're not. I guess they're not that shameless. No, Lulu was pretty. But that was just kind of a nice little sway.
But it's not like the men in Final Fantasy aren't treated the same way.
True. And because of
they're
that,
all extremely ripped or very lean.
yeah, because of that, I think that might be why they might not get as much scrutiny as far as Baindrams is saying.
I think it might be that the games are not used to making other headlines, like let's say a Mortal Kombat or some other violent video games, when everybody, and I'm sure there's many people who still are railing, when everybody's railing against violent video games and how they possibly cause violence in youth, which is bullshit. It causes a youth to sit down on his ass and do nothing at the very worst.
Right.
That's what a video game will do. It's bullshit. And so maybe something like Mortal Kombat, where it already has headlines to it, or Grand Theft Auto or something like that, they're probably going to find some other aspect of that very popular, very headliney game,
right,
to discuss those type of things or to point fingers at.
So you think it's because...
I think it's because Final Fantasy is not a headlining game, and it's even though it is one of the biggest series of all time, there's a shitload of games.
Right.
And so maybe per game, the average is not as high as like a Call of Duty or a Halo, or some of these fighting games that they're talking about.
Right. I think
the sales and how many people know what Final Fantasy is in the world. I don't know. It's kind of a weird question to
it is. And I mean,
answer.
It goes really deep. And at the same time, it's also Japan. We got to remember that Japan is...
They got their own body image problems over there.
They're perverted in our eyes. As far as we are concerned, they're perverts. But
I mean, just look at the J-pop bands.
Yeah, look at the over sexualization of people that look like they're 12. Like it's that's worse than
concerning.
Final Fantasy as far as artwork goes. I mean, I understand that it is kind of an issue, but only at very impressionable ages. And then I don't know. You should be able to tell that it's not supposed to be real. And I think there's no double standard because, like you're saying, all the guys are like, they're usually either really ripped or they have,
I think I put in the comments that the most unrealistic thing about Final Fantasy was that everybody's hair is untouched the entire game. Doesn't matter what Final Fantasy it is, whether or not the character's male or female, ain't nothing moving with the hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's the most unrealistic thing.
You'd think technically, under as much stress as some of these guys are under, they're going to start losing hair.
I mean, a woman can probably have enough liposuction and plastic surgery to have a body like one of those people, or a man could possibly, with enough steroid use, have a body like Snow. Or someone with a lot more discipline than myself.
Yeah, or me.
I don't know any of those people that have a body like Snow, so I don't know who to ask for advice as far as that goes.
Yeah.
The absolute most unrealistic thing is that hair.
Yeah. And I don't know. And it's not. I think the over sexualization of both genders is probably what leaves it under the radar.
Yeah, I think Vaughn's little vest to
it's just too much.
To certain people might be. I think I kind of want to gag a little bit, and maybe women feel that way when they see a skimpy Riku or something like that.
Yeah, who knows? But I don't know. It's not too big of a deal with this series, but that's kind of an interesting question, though. All right, well, you want to go for this one?
Okay. What do you mean FF2 isn't a direct sequel to FF1? Oh shit! This is one of those questions where we gotta get a list, isn't it? What are you doing, Schweiss?
Don't worry about it. Okay, so...
this is an audio podcast, right?
Well, most of it is. All right, so...
I ask you what you're doing, and you gotta explain what you're doing.
So, I can't explain it right now, because it's in the Twitch chat, but...
Oh, God.
Continue.
This is from Ren FM, who's a samurai with Giltos on our forums. Says, hey guys, imagine publishers or whoever wouldn't let Square repeatedly use the title of Final Fantasy, seeing as the main games aren't related through story. Personally, I don't... Well, they are the publishers. Okay, whatever. That's not part of the question. It's obviously not it's not a question where we should seriously...
It's a really weird universe that doesn't make sense.
Okay. Personally, I don't think it matters that the stories aren't related, but this seemed like an interesting option. They are related, I'd say.
To some extent, yeah.
At least in gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 9 makes crappy little references to them.
Crappy.
Well, it's fun, but it's not.
All the
it's
games
not
make references to the other games.
It's not legitimate though. It's usually like Kane's.
Okay, whatever. Okay, his example is he would call FF1 Final Fantasy, FF2 The Empire Sucks, or she's kind of hot, but her brother is my best friend. I'll think about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And FF3 Kids with Adult Problems. He says he's obviously really bad at this.
Dude.
This. So, Schweiss.
All right. I'll start it out.
Let's name a couple Final Fantasy. What would you rename some Final Fantasies?
Okay, Final Fantasy, and then Final Fantasy 2, The Empire Strikes Again and Again and Again.
The Emperor Strikes.
Emperor, yeah. And, well, Empire 2, but mostly the Emperor because you fight him like a million times in that game.
All right, okay.
Not always him, but still. Final Fantasy 3, Sandlot 2, the kids.
There is a Sandlot 2.
Sandlot 3. Is there really a Sandlot 2?
Dude, I've seen it on the shelf. Okay, I saw it on the shelf at a Blockbuster many years ago, so
Why?
There must have been a Sandlot 2 for a while.
Was that Disney?
Sandlot 2 is not, or Sandlot's not Disney.
Okay,
I don't think. Well, maybe. I thought they were. I want to say, at the top of my head, I'm thinking MGM, which is now currently owned by Disney.
Oh, God. It was a preemptive sequel. Okay, so...
But I could be wrong.
I don't know. We could do that or like Kids Next Door, you know, because it's kind of like that old cartoon where they're just taking over and they got all this weaponry.
Okay.
Final Fantasy IV, Inception 2.
It's...
Or Inception, the prequel.
No, it'd be like Mind Controlception, I'd call it.
Mindception?
Well, Inception's already Mindception.
True.
Some...
I say we combine our list. Cause,
Mind Controlception.
All right.
Okay. FF5.
Get a job.
That would be FF3 also, though.
Okay, FF3, get a job. FF5, get a better job. Get promoted.
You could call it that.
Get promoted.
I'm thinking like the Evil Tree.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Evil Tree.
Yeah.
In space.
Yeah, that's godly. It's an awesome title.
What'd you call FF6? Moon Girl. That's lame. I mean, we're supposed to be comedic with these things.
Oh, FF6, huh?
Yeah. What would you call FF6?
I don't know.
Terra is the main character. Don't ask questions, just believe it.
Yeah, don't.
I don't know. What the fuck would you call FF6? Do we got any ideas here?
Hot pink nudes.
Okay, someone... You could do that.
Hot pink nudes.
Oh, yeah, hot pink nudes. Light Stage down here suggests the clown is evil. Who would have guessed as the title? That's a very long title.
True.
All of her titles seem to be long. What would you call 7? You got one for 7?
Yeah, mommy issues. Let me call 7.
Mommy issues?
Yeah.
You know, I was seriously thinking, I was like, you know, what would you, if you were to base a movie on a Final Fantasy, and it was a particular Final Fantasy in the series, like, you wouldn't come out with a movie. I mean, maybe straight to DVD like they did, but you wouldn't call a movie going out in theaters Final Fantasy VII. You wouldn't do that because the audience who has never heard of the games would be like,
what is that?
What the fuck? What were the other 6? And why am I hearing of 7 right now? I don't think they would look it up. I think they would just go, okay, that's not for me, and then walk away.
Right. They would think, where were
so
the
you would
other
have
6?
to call it something else. And I racked my brain for years thinking of like what a title would be for the FF7 movie. And I was thinking you could probably do Sephiroth, which is an interesting title. Yeah. And you could, of course, have the theme song in the trailer. The One Wing Angel piece of music. But that's all I could think of.
The Sephiroth?
Yeah.
All right, well, what about 8? Since you're so intimate with 8, you played it so many times.
Oh, Jesus.
Starring Robin Williams.
Yeah.
That's just the name of the movie. Yeah, too soon.
It's still sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
you think
pretty
Robin
crappy.
Williams, like, It's not like I got over Philip Seymour Hoffman like a week ago, and but Robin Williams, who died before, I think, right?
I don't know,
Who
dude.
died first, Philip Seymour Hoffman or Robin Williams? They were both quite recent.
Wait, who's Philip Seymour Hoffman? What's his big roles?
Philip Seymour Hoffman, really?
Yeah.
Shit. Now I'm suddenly drawing a blank. He's in Moneyball. He's in a whole bunch of movie you haven't seen.
I don't like. Yeah, I would never watch a sports movie like that.
That's too bad.
But I think Robin Williams died first, actually.
Okay. Well, still sad.
Yeah.
FF8. What would you call it? That's a hard one.
I don't know. The Endless Loop, maybe something like that.
Don't touch the lamp.
Yeah. Don't touch the lamp.
Yeah.
That's a
Call
good one.
that.
All right. FF9.
The kid with the cat tail.
The man. I don't know. Man meets monkey, maybe something like that.
Maybe.
The man with the monkey tail. Go with that.
You could do that, yeah.
The man with the monkey tail. Final Fantasy X, of course.
Moby Dick 2.
Or like Godzilla versus the world.
Your father is Moby Dick. I don't know.
Godzilla versus Sun.
So it would be Son of Godzilla again, which is a movie already.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Son of Godzilla 2? I don't know.
Son of Godzilla 2?
Yeah.
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah,
and awesome.
It would be pretty bad.
You could call it that. FF11, The Grind.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just call it Grind.
Yeah, that we could do that.
All right.
FF12, Walk, maybe? I know 11 we walked a lot more, but...
Yeah, you could call it
Or we could call it The Leading Man. That'd be a sweet title.
Who is the leading man? That's the question of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives it to us, and it doesn't have an answer. Okay. I think that's all we can say, though.
We can't go to 13
We can't go to 13 yet.
All right. We'll give
Unless you got one for it.
Not yet, no.
Light Sage says, walk in a straight line for 50 hours and then have an open world for 2 hours. 50 hours? No. We're almost to the open world, and it has not been close to that.
Yeah, not quite.
Looks like we have a lot of trolls in our Twitch stream.
Yeah.
You gotta get rid of here soon. All right, what's the next question?
It's a good one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, what kind of Final Fantasy game would you like in the future? Ooh, the future. One that gets released.
Took me a second.
Oh, okay. They say this is from Choco Bro, a very new forum member with an awesome little alien playing pool with Predator picture that I've seen from Caleb Craig. He says he means this in the way of gameplay, etc. For him, he would love to see one in space where you go to different planets throughout the story. I think a cross of 13's combat would allow you to switch roles and characters on the fly for a single character instead of the whole party, and action-oriented would be good for this kind of setting, and maybe have summons be a suit of armor, thinking Iron Man, but any character can use it, and they each have their own special abilities. Originally posted this on Reddit and got some good responses, but he would like to hear what you guys think / would like to see. I don't even know.
One that gets released.
Yeah, you're going to go with mine.
And I would like some kind of return to the old combat system. Some kind of return back to a classic Final Fantasy combat system, or at least some kind of that. I mean, we've had experiments from 11 to 15. Let's bring it back home just a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to go with like a 10 kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah, something
where it's
like
still
a
fast, but he can be slower if you need it to be.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do it, but that's what I would like.
No, it's probably over for those days. I'd like to have the airships back. I think it's not fair. They stole it.
They said they're going to try to put the airship in FF15, but there's no promises.
There's the car, though. That's fine. I want the open mode of transportation to go where I want and not select it from a list. There's enough lists in these games that I don't need another one. For areas, that's actually something I've really I've really wanted. I think it cheapens it when I have to select my location in 10 from a list of locations and then find locations on the map instead of flying to random places and trying to see if I can get down there.
No, I get it.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be a nice return to a pinnacle of the series almost, is the airship.
I would like airships also. I'm not sure how you would put it in such a highly detailed game. The other Final Fantasy games always had like a world map where it was kind of like a mini version of the planet.
Right.
And I know FF11 and FF14 have airships, and you kind of, at least with FF11, I know you kind of see the entirety of the planet, and it's cool. And they'd probably put something in that was more like FF11 into FF15 than they would the old overworld map that they used to have.
Yeah, probably. But I'd like the overworld map, hyper detailed, like they could do it now. I think it'd be cool. It'd be a fun
I think
return.
next time they make a sequel to a Final Fantasy game, it should be one of the PlayStation games, the original PlayStation ones. And like, I want it to look like that. Just a little bit better graphics, not like the FF7 remake that we've seen so far. I want it to like have the pre-rendered backgrounds, only just like higher quality.
Oh, you remember the pre-renders in 10? Some of those were amazing looking.
That's true. The pre-renders in 10 HD look really good. They do exist. It's a lie on the back cover where it says everything everything is in 3D or some shit like that. It says on the back, and it's bullshit.
No, it's a lie. It looks way too good. Plus, it's not moving at all. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I mean, of course.
For this episode, what are you talking about? We got iTunes reviews.
Oh, fine.
You idiot. I mean, I'm so sorry. That was so mean.
I mean, yeah, fuck off.
iTunes reviews. iTunes reviews.
All right, so first up in reviews, this one is titled Great FF Pod from MW or M Wacky 1212. Great podcast on Final Fantasy. I must say I enjoy the retro Final Fantasy games and haven't played anything after FF9. I find myself re-listening to the review episodes for the old games I'm playing currently.
Sorry about the FF1 review, really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're not proud. The amazing thing is these guys played those in 1 month without using guides.
Not true.
Some of us. Sometimes I think in their research
you didn't.
and reviews suffer a bit from not using the guides. When playing, for example, one of them didn't know about the tents in 9, using them on bosses. But still very respectable. Definitely worth listening. I don't think either of us knew about that.
Probably.
Because why would you be able to use a tent in the battle? What the fuck?
Is that a thing?
Yes.
I still don't know about it. This
so
is all
both of
news
us-
to me.
Both of us had no idea.
Thanks for the review. I'm glad you're enjoying the review episodes.
Yeah.
This is titled "They've Touched Me"
Ooh, God.
by Morbid Youth.
All right, look, we can't be touching youth, okay?
Jesus, there's too many pedophile things in this episode. What the fuck's up with that today? We've never had this problem on this show.
We've never had a problem
Showing Caleb's true nature.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fuck you.
Okay. I was kidding. We'll see, though, in the future. We'll see what happens. Okay, so far this podcast is way better than FFU.
Not sure who that is.
FFU2.
Yeah.
I'm amazed I never bumped into these guys when I lived in Provo. This podcast has touched me in tingly places. That's right, I'm making this creepy. All of you should just let it happen. I love Megadeth references as I play guitar, and of course, I love the coverage of Final Fantasy. Thanks, guys, you're awesome, and I'm only messing around with you guys. It is a great podcast, though. Megadeth is awesome.
Yes. And it's not really references if we have Dave coming in.
Yeah, that's true. Dave is a personal friend.
Yeah, so...
and his drummer freaking bowed out at a recording session the other day.
He just can't keep members for some reason.
Yeah, he can't keep drummers. Fucking... I feel so frustrated for Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're really channeling his frustration.
Yep,
through
really
yourself.
channeling it. It's like I was there and the drummer left and didn't come back.
Wow. That's something.
Yeah.
You guys have a connection that I could only...
There's an insane connection between me and Dave.
I probably don't even want to know. All right, so we have...
We're connected.
Yeah.
I mean, really. We're together.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so we have one here from Brad FF7. It's titled, I Want.
That
No,
guy was
wait.
in Provo. We didn't even talk about that. Dude was in Provo. Doesn't know who we are. Everybody in Provo knows us.
Yeah, we're sort of a big deal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's hilarious.
Huge deal.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, if you're in Provo, you don't know who we are. I mean, really.
yeah, it's like...
You obviously don't hang out at Tommy.
Like there's the mayor, and then there's us. And most people don't know
Do
what the
you
mayor
even
looks
know who
like.
the mayor
No,
is?
I have no idea what his name is.
I don't know who the mayor is in Provo.
So anyway...
But to be fair, I live in Vineyard.
oh, see? Twitter.
There's about 6 houses in Vineyard, so if anybody really creepy is listening in Vineyard, they could probably find me, which is unfortunate. I shouldn't have said that. I live in Orem. Big town.
Huge.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy's 5-star review here. Thank you. This podcast is absolutely amazing. It's that simple. Boom, review done. Fine, I'll go slightly more into detail. I work downtown
Provo.
Chicago. And have about an hour commute both ways. I used to dread my drive, stuck in the car listening to the same 10 songs play over and over again on the radio. So when I first started listening to podcasts, I found many boring or bland. So I decided to find a podcast about something that I love, that being Final Fantasy. When I first started, the first episode I ever listened to, the FF9 review, I absolutely loved it. That's weird. I felt like we'd sucked that one. But as soon as I heard all of the songs they used for transitions, great idea, Joe, I knew this was going
The
to
Twitch
be...
people aren't hearing any of those songs right now, by the way.
I knew this was going to be a great podcast, and it delivered. The talk between the two main hosts always sounds genuine. It never sounds like they are just talking because they have to in order to fill up time. They just sound like two friends talking about Final Fantasy. They also have some really great and informative episodes for even the most diehard of fans.
Not the most diehard of fans.
Well, we're not, but for the most.
Yeah, but sometimes we have an interviewee on, and they know a lot.
Yeah, they know more.
Yeah, they do.
Where was I? The one that comes to his mind is when they had someone on who was doing a
That's it.
translation of the original FF7. You're a seer.
Oh,
Or you just
I
read
think
ahead.
I might have read this ahead of time, and just subconsciously I had that connection.
In
Forgot
that
about
episode,
it.
he
Okay.
learned so many things about FF7 that he never knew. In all honesty, this podcast is hands down one of the best for a Final Fantasy fan. Hosts are always having a good time, some seriously funny moments, a lot of information, awesome topics. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy, do yourself a favor and give this podcast a listen.
Oh, yeah.
You will not regret it. Bonus. This amazing podcast hasn't had a review in so long. You guys seriously deserve it. Keep the podcast up.
You know what? That was true at the time that you wrote it, but
it takes a few days.
a few other reviews popped up. And I want to thank every person in the U.S. that gave us that review. We do have one review from Australia, if Schweiss could remember what continent Australia is on.
Well, it's not that it's a continent. It's its own
It is a
continent.
continent, yeah.
Asia Pacific.
Okay, what section in the iTunes
Yes.
you have to go into?
Continent. Yes.
Australia is a continent.
Yes, it is, but it's not. There's not an Australia section
true, it's not.
for the one Australia.
But you were looking in the Europe area. I was watching you scroll around. Let's see. So we got this one from Captain Awesome 2012. Best and most comprehensive. Can you do a really horrible Australian accent for this guy?
I don't even know.
You don't know. Try to sound like Vanille, just manlier.
I look forward to this podcast every week.
God.
The hosts are funny, even after 12 plus months and other podcasts.
Crikey.
And work great together while still being reasonably critical and honest. They are active on their message board, reply to questions, and even implement suggested ideas from topics. Love these guys.
I think you're losing
And
it.
honestly,
You were losing whatever you lost.
the whole forum feel like very distant family. And they read out every review, so I just want to say, Purple Monkey dishwasher. Enjoy the grind.
What did you
I just lost it. My throat.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
I told you I couldn't fucking do it, and you made me do it on the air.
It's because I wanted to hear it.
That's good.
Rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Do not swim with the friggin' manta rays.
Don't do it.
Well, thank you, man. Sorry we slaughtered your native tongue. Native tongue, I put. And
the native tongue.
Oh, slide that up.
This is a very loose show.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think we have one more segment, if I remember correctly.
What is that segment?
It's something about us asking you guys something.
What was it? What? Oh. Schweiss. It's questions from us to you.
Oh, fuck. I gotta get
Let's get to that.
All right, guys. So
I hope you enjoyed that new jingle, by the way, you listeners out there.
Yeah. Amazing work of art there. I cried.
Yeah, when we saw it live, it was beautiful.
Yeah. It was oh my God, the orchestra. Not the orchestra, the thing.
The choir?
The choir. God. The orchestra
choir and the keyboardist, they were really on.
For mouths was amazing. The mouthestra.
Your mom has got that going on, if you know what I mean. All right.
I don't know, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back we did a cooking episode. It was a random thing that I was like, God damn it, Joe, why? But everyone enjoyed it.
Oh, we did a
we
the
did
Tonberry
the Tantalus Tantalus sandwich.
Tonberry sandwich would probably kill us, and we just
it's like got a knife in it. We're just like got a knife through our fucking throats. Just Toneberry.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, but
put the knife in the middle of the sandwich.
Oh, does this sound safe to you? Oh, just follow the instructions.
Swallow it whole.
Yeah, swallow it whole. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, we made a sandwich and some non-alcoholic drinks that we later tried alcoholic. I think one.
We tried one. We tried slow.
It was
it was not on the
tasted
show.
like vodka. So
it's very much vodka, very much.
But yeah, we want to do another episode like that because it was it was enjoyable and we love food. Obviously, we're human and kind of fat, so
yeah, we're both fat.
We
Me much more so.
But yeah,
let's bring Kaleb in here to make me feel better about myself.
Yeah. So we want to do another one of those.
Sorry, that was mean. He's in the room too.
And are wondering what you guys, what recipes you've seen that aren't like ridiculously difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into Toneberry Kitchen or the Drunken Moogle for drinks. Sorry, keep going.
But yeah, what do you guys want us to make? Essentially,
yeah.
We can make a meal.
Put some ideas up and talk about it within the forum, and let us know what you think, and we'll decide probably, and we'll do a cooking episode.
Yeah, we'll do a cooking episode eventually.
I think pretty soon. Yeah, we got a big gap here coming on. So
well,
when I say big gap, I mean like you got 2 reviews, and there's probably going to be 5 or 6 episodes in between. So at the most.
Yes.
13's going pretty fast.
We're going real fast.
Yeah. All right, Schweiss. Well, I think we got to wind down the episode now.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Just so you guys know, you can always find us on youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can follow us on Twitter at UFF Podcast. You can go to facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. Follow us there. You can support us on Patreon. $1 a month gets you the episodes. Hopefully a day early unless we have technical difficulties.
Yeah. Okay, how about this?
And if not, you're still supporting the show and it's awesome.
Yeah, how about it'll be a day early, but it may sound tin canny.
It will be the episode and it will be early.
Yes.
That is what I can promise.
That's the promise.
You can listen to it.
Yes.
And, sometimes we do drop a little new jingle in there if we're having problems uploading files and we need to test a smaller file size on it. Right?
Yeah. Well, we should probably start doing that from now on. Just extra content for the Patreon. But we'll talk about that
we have
later.
extra content. Dave Mustaine sent us drum tracks and he put those up.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do that for any old Final Fantasy podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Here they are. We got the Dave exclusive. The Megadeth exclusive right there.
Beat with that.
You can find us on twitch.tv and hopefully not troll along on our live feed, twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. Please subscribe to us there. You can watch Schweiss, mostly Schweiss, play the games. Occasionally, we'll play some League of Legends. Or Schweiss will decide he's playing Darksiders for a day and then stop.
Yes.
Sometimes that'll happen too. And make sure you go to our website, ultimafinalfantasy.com, and please join our forums.
Yes. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Also, check out our other shows. I mean, we have Super Sexy Swingin' Fan Fiction for the naughty audience out there. Reading our erotic fanfics that are submitted by you guys and our favorite.
They're not always supposed to be erotic fan fiction, but they end up being mostly erotic fan fiction.
Yeah, they don't have to be, but it's usually. And, of course, Getting Fat, PHAT, with Kaleb and Joe, where we talk about trying to not be fat for 10 seconds and then talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, we talk about whatever the hell we want.
Yep, it's great.
Whenever the hell we want.
No language, though. It's brutal. But, check those out, and...
Oh, well. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGollier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGollier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.